Hello and welcome to this Black Talk Radio News Brief. My name is Scotty Reed. Unfortunately, I'm coming on air to report some very tragic news coming out of Texas. If you have not heard already, let me go ahead and share some details from an Associated Press article. This story comes to you out of Uvalde, Texas. Again, this is an Associated Press article. An 18-year-old gunman opened fire Tuesday at a Texas elementary school, killing 14 children, one teacher, and injuring others, Governor Greg Abbott said, and the gunman was dead. It was the deadliest shooting at a U.S. grade school since the shooting attack at Sandy Hook Elementary in Newton, Connecticut, almost a decade ago. The gunman entered Robb Elementary School in Uvalde with a handgun and possibly a rifle, Abbott said. Officials have not revealed a motive for the shooting, but Abbott identified him as Salvador Ramos and said he was a resident of the community that's about 85 miles west of San Antonio. So those are the details. Of course, thoughts and prayers and sympathies go out to the victims and their family, but that isn't sufficient. It's just not. How many thoughts and prayers do we need to send out? I mean, these type of shootings happen every day, just about every day. And though they may not be happening in schools, as we seen the Buffalo terrorist attack at that grocery store, they're still happening all over the United States. And what I see from a lot of people, as particularly politicians, is they think gun control is going to solve this problem. Unless you're ready to round up the millions upon millions of guns that's already out there in the street, you can do all the gun control you want. It will not stop killers from getting their hands on weapons. There's a black market out there, and there's just nothing you can do. All the background checks is not going to stop an individual from acquiring a weapon in the United States and going out and committing atrocious acts of violence. What we have is not so much as a political issue. I mean, through politics, the only thing you can do is pass laws. Since when has a law ever stopped a crime? The only thing a law provides for is punishment. That's all. It doesn't stop anything, and so that's not even a logical solution. What we have is a spiritual problem. What we have is a cultural problem. This nation was founded on violence, all right? And Martin Luther King said decades ago that the United States is the greatest purveyor of violence on the face of the planet. It's all connected, from the military-industrial complex, always, selling weapons and what have you. Of course, through the United States government, we flood these other countries with weapons. The United States is always involved in some kind of violent conflict. Just the other day, they sent $40 billion worth of weapons to Ukraine, which is one of the most corrupt nations on the face of the earth. Specifically in Europe, according to those watchdog groups that monitor nations for corruption. But yet Joe Biden, without any checks and balances, without an inspector general, without a way to track these weapons, is sending them anyway. All right. And not just Joe Biden, but the members of Congress that voted for that. Joe Biden just got through threatening China with violence if, they were to reunify Taiwan with China, even though Washington, D.C.'s policy is they recognize one China. But that doesn't stop U.S. politicians from going to Taiwan to antagonize the Chinese. And again, Joe Biden just issued threats. Then you look at the news media. The news media profits from these wars and what have you by covering the wars, but also they help justify the wars. And they push a lot of propaganda on behalf of the U.S. government intelligence agencies and what have you. And then you look at the entertainment industry. A lot of it is violence. That's what they promote. That's what they celebrate. It's conflict resolution through violence. And nobody seems to have a problem with it when it comes to this violent media. And so what we have is a spiritual problem, and we have a cultural problem that is not helped with the availability of all these guns. So I don't have a solution. I just really don't. All I can do is take care of me and try to influence my children and those people around me that there's a better solution, to resolving issues other than violence. But sadly, just too many people are susceptible to these violent messages. All right, this has been Scotty Reed with the Black Talk Radio News Brief. Please support the production of independent black media by making a donation to the nonprofit Black Talk Media Project. You can go to blacktalkradionetwork.com and make that donation today. Peace and blessings.